so that it can be made available for people on your campus. We can follow up. Melissa is going to send those out to all of the attendees also when we are done later today or tomorrow. So the idea behind the coffee talk is just to come together as people who are familiar with IDEA or interested in IDEA and talk about a topic of interest. And in this particular case, I've asked Faye and Bruce if they would share a little bit of how they use IDEA data in their teaching and learning center, which is maybe thinking outside of the box for some folks about the richness of the data that's available with IDEA. And I've also invited them to share, the successes that they've had, but then also some of the challenges and things that they've been having to deal with IDEA data as well, because we would like for this to be an open conversation and make it as practical and useful for everyone who participates as we possibly can. So with that, or before I turn it over to them, I just wanted to give a little bit of a lay of the land here in our Adobe Connect session. In the lower right-hand corner is a chat box area, where people can post questions. Melissa and I from the IDEA Center will be working on answering questions that we can, or at least tracking the questions. So when we get towards the end of what Faye and Bruce want to say, we can make sure that those questions get answered there. And then also in the top of your screen, there's a row of buttons. And the last one is an icon of a person raising their hand. And if you click on that, you can adjust your status. And this is a way for the people who are giving the presentation to get some feedback from you in the moment. So you can raise your hand, and on the right-hand side, you can see Melissa did that already. It'll actually change the icon next to your name, so you can raise your hand, and that will let us know that you have a question. Faye or Bruce may ask you a question. You can agree, disagree, give laughter, applause. I don't think there's a button on here to throw money. So unfortunately, there's not a money throwing button. We'll have to talk to the Adobe people about that. So anyhow, I just wanted to make sure that everyone... Say that again?
I said, I think our foundation has one of those buttons.
Okay, the throw the money button. Okay. Yeah, so anyhow, I just wanted to make everyone aware in the room that there are ways to participate and send feedback even though your microphone's not enabled. You've got the chat box, the buttons at the top. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Faye and Bruce from the University of South Dakota. I'll let you introduce yourself a little bit and then take it from there.
All right, well, thanks, Jake. And thank you all for joining us. My name is Faye Hager. As on the screen, I'm the Educational Technology Integration here at the University of South Dakota in our teaching and learning.
And I'm Bruce Kelly, and I'm the director.
And what we wanted to do was share a little bit about how we're using IDEA data within our center. And Melissa, do you mind clicking on the screen for me? Sorry.
Pause here. Faye, when you're talking, your voice kind of fades out. Bruce, we can hear you pretty well when you talk, but Faye, when you're talking, your voice is fading out for us.
Okay. If Melissa wouldn't mind clicking the slides forward, I just can't get to our slides. Jake, can you bring our slides?
Hey, we can hardly hear you, but we can hear Bruce. Can you sit up a little closer to the microphone, maybe? You might just have a thought.
Yeah, could you please share the slides with us? We're unable to click through.
Yep, there you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, so a little bit about the history of IDEA at USD. Our campus actually started exclusively using the IDEA forms in 2006, which was mandated through our Board of Regents. And they actually started looking intensively for evaluations, and there were certain criteria that they looked for, norm referencing and such, and IDEA was the one that they chose to start using.
And so the Center for Teaching and Learning at the University of South Dakota was founded in 2007. And the first year that I was here, I began to use the IDEA data for the purposes of a grant that we had that was measuring the impact of some of the undergraduate programs that we had on student satisfaction and the evaluation of teaching as measured by the IDEA form. And as I began to develop ways to measure the impact of this newly founded center, I began thinking about the amount of data that the IDEA form has, and so I began to craft a number of different outcomes that I thought would be appropriate, again, using those IDEA data. And and that data then is presented through an annual report that goes to our faculty advisory council. It goes to our the deans. It goes to the executive committee, and it's just one of the ways that we try to provide some measure of the impact of what we do. Obviously, it's very difficult to say that because a faculty member participated in a workshop at the CTL, that therefore one of their students is exhibiting better learning because of that. However, the IDEA form gives us a chance, gives us an instrument to begin telling at least part of the story of what impact we may or may not be having.
And I'll add to that, the IDEA form is just one indicator of the success. We also have a few other surveys and assessments that we give, data that we pull, particularly for our mobile computing initiative, which is again a Board of Regents initiative. And so we provide, or we give a student survey every year that we use in connection with the IDEA.
Okay, so one of the questions that we have looked at, and we have been using the diagnostic form of the IDEA form, and one of the questions that really interested us, particularly because we have this Board of Regents initiative in terms of helping our face-to-face instructors use technology in the classroom, was question 47 on the diagnostic form, which states the instructor used educational technology to promote learning. And so one of the things that we began to do is, as the slide says, to assess faculty comfort and proficiency in educational technology as part of this BOR mobile computing initiative. And I think, there should be a chart there, but that's okay. Fortunately for us, the chart goes up, and that's all I think that we have to say. And so what we can show is that since the center was founded in 2007, for example, the first year that the center was in existence, fall 2007, and the way that we're measuring this, by the way, is the percentage of courses scoring 3.5 or higher on the IDEA form. We've worked with our Office of Academic Assessment and Evaluation, and they're working with the IDEA folks, and that seems to be the best way to kind of talk about what's average, what's above average. So percentage of courses scoring 3.5 or higher. Fall of 2007, 81.7% of the courses at USD were scoring 3.5 or higher. By the time we got to spring of 2013, which is the most recent data that we've published, it was 94.6% of the faculty of the courses were being rated at 3.5 or higher. So we can't prove that our technology workshops, directly influence those scores, but it's part of that story. It seems to me logical.
Lost all of the audio on your end, Faye and Bruce. Can you still hear us? Oh, we lost them as presenters altogether, it looks like. Okay, well, I'm going to anticipate that they will log back in. So fortunately, I have a little bit of familiarity. I have not looked at their slides, but for our participants, oh, here they come. So for our, just go ahead and jump back in, Faye and Bruce, whenever you get your...
Yeah, we're back.
Okay, welcome back.
Sorry, can you hear us now?
Yes.
Yeah, we don't know what happened. All right.
Well,
anyway, so one of the ways that we're trying to tell our story of effectiveness is looking at questions like this. So question 47 has shown the university average has improved as the Center for Teaching and Learning has operated more and more or offered more and more workshops. In addition, then, we've assessed faculty specifically who participate in our mobile computing workshops. So not only are we looking at the university as a whole, but we're looking at the university as a whole compared to the faculty that have gone through our workshops. And when we do that, what we see is that, generally speaking, faculty who attend one or two of our technology workshops do better than the university average, and faculty who attend 3 or more of our MCI workshops do even better. So we're able to show that not only is there this increase in time on this question as the Center for Teaching and Learning has increased its technology workshops, but we're able to differentiate between the faculty who have attended our workshops and show that they are actually scoring better on question 47, which again helps us tell part of that story. And then another way that we use this particular question, 47, and we're trying to get a lot of mileage out of this so we don't have to ask our Office of Academic Assessment and Evaluation to do a lot of number chunking. But we also have a 2-week course design fellowship that we do in the summer. And so one of our goals is, will the course redesign folks who participate in this show general improvement in the idea forms? And we're getting a weird message, Jake, on our screen. Are you still with us?
Melissa's trying to share.
Are you getting us now?
Yeah, I can hear you. Let's see if I can move that out of the way. There we go. Sorry.
Okay. Very good. And so we've looked at question 47 in terms of the average idea for faculty who participate in our 2-week course redesign fellowship. And again, those numbers have gone up. And so I guess I wanted to take a moment here and just stop and before we leave question 47, are there any questions from the folks that are participating here?
And if you do have questions, go ahead and start typing those in the chat box, and that'll give Faye and Bruce a chance to read those and make a response. While we're waiting for those questions to come in, I'm curious, one question I have is, you've done a good job of saying that this is only showing part of the picture and that, it's hard to empirically state because the faculty attended your workshops that you're seeing a direct result. So you're giving some extra evidence towards that effect. What kind of feedback are you getting from your own your people on campus, the deans or the provost? Do they give you any pushback on using the idea data? Are they accepting of that? What kind of responses do you hear from that side of things? Oops. We lost them again. So I'm hopeful to hear the answer to that question. Edwin, I see your question down here. Do you ask the students questions about the faculty proficiency in the use of technology? Okay. So Faye and Bruce, are you able to jump back in? Edwin,
okay, can you hear us now?
Sorry, Jake.
Yes. Welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you. So first, I see the question here in the tech chat box. Let me answer your question first. We're very careful in how we present the data. We're trying not to say, this is the answer, or so because of that, because we're very careful how we present the data, because we've got a number of objectives, 12 to 13, depending on the year that we're looking at, different metrics that we're using to tell our story. When you look at it as a whole, it becomes pretty compelling. We actually have done some statistical analysis on question 47 specifically, where we looked at that differentiation between faculty who had attended our workshops versus the university average. And we did find a statistically significant difference for those folks that had attended 3 or more workshops. So some of the data that we're able to develop is more than just what I would say qualitative, just kind of telling the story. Some of it does have some quantitative legs as well, and we're trying to use that. But most of what we do with our internal surveys, with some of the other institutional data that we use, really it has to be told as part of a broader explanation of what we're doing. And the deans and the provost and the executive council have been receptive to that. They understand the challenges of doing that. Okay, and then Edwin asked, do you ask the students questions about the faculty proficiency in the use of technology? That's what this question 47 does. This is the diagnostic form, and so that's what the students are filling out. And so the students are the ones that are responding to this question about how well do the faculty make use of technology. Hopefully that answered that question. Oh, BOR, Board of Regents, yes. And looks like those are the only questions. So go ahead and flip forward. So another way that we're using the idea form, we're getting away from question 47. One of our focuses is on our online instructors. And with our online instructors, what we're trying to do is make sure that the students perceive that the educational opportunities in our online courses are the same as our face-to-face courses. And so ideally, no pun intended, we would like our the courses to be indistinguishable by modality when we're looking at the overall idea scores. And so one of the things we're looking at with our online faculty are 2 factors that research has shown over and over again form a significant component of student satisfaction in the online modality. And that is question number 1 on the idea form, which is the instructor displayed a personal interest in student-centered learning. And then question number 17, which is the instructor provided timely and frequent feedback. And so if an online student feels like the instructor has a personal interest in them and they're getting timely feedback, that's more than half the battle in providing online experience that the students are appreciative of and enjoying. And so again, we're missing some of the graphs here, but what we have found is we just started measuring this about 1.5 years ago. We deployed, developed and deployed a brand new online faculty orientation. You can read that a couple of ways. That's a faculty orientation for new online instructors. And it is also an online orientation. And so we wanted to try to assess the effectiveness of this new program that we had. And so we were looking at questions 1 and question 17. And what we've discovered is question number 1 in the past couple of semesters since we deployed the orientation, that we've seen online responses for this particular question to rise about 4 percentage points. And then for the question number 17, which is timely feedback, we've seen it rise about 3 percentage points. Now, you asked us to talk about some of the benefits and some of the challenges. One of the challenges with the idea form is simply one of statistical significance. As I said, we did some analysis of question 47, but the question of so we got a 4 percentage point increase. Is that excuse me? Is that within the realm of expected variation? And so we're still exploring some of those questions. Sarah, you've asked if we could tell what the online faculty orientation entails, and I can certainly give you a brief overview of that. It begins with a 2-hour synchronous explanation of some of the basics of our online teaching, our expectations for faculty, our expectations for the courses that they're teaching. It then moves into an asynchronous section where the new faculty are expected to read, for example, the online faculty handbook, and they have to pass a readiness quiz. Once they've passed that readiness quiz, which basically measures their abilities to understand the basic processes and all-season procedures, then they move into what we call our quality assurance process, which is a more one-on-one experience where our instructional designers are working with the faculty to make sure that that class has at least the basics, a good solid foundation for course design for the online modality. And I can give you more, but hopefully that's a little bit of an introduction. So with questions 1 to 17, we're starting to look at these two important facets of online learning. We're showing some early positive returns, but it's too early to tell, to be honest. So that's one of the ways that we've used it. Another way that we use the idea form is we assess just the broad excellent instructor and excellent course scores ratings that students give the faculty. And we use that in two particular cases. The first is we use it to evaluate excuse me, I'm noticing a typo that I made. It's whether they match or exceed the university face-to-face averages, but through the QA process, which again is our online faculty evaluation, and we want our online faculty again to be at about the same levels of our face-to-face. So we look at and compare the ratings for excellent instructor and excellent course. And at times, we have been able to match up where our online faculty are scoring just as well, are being scored by the students, I should say, just as well as our face-to-face. And there have been other semesters where online has not done quite as well. And so that's always that kind of try to implement some new training or some new resource, see how it impacts their perception of quality of their online teaching, and then hopefully that's reflected in students' ratings as well. I will say that ever since we have implemented the online orientation, that we've shown increases in both the idea overall scores for excellent instructor and excellent course, and they're getting much closer to our face-to-face averages, which is very nice. The other way that we use this, I'm going to see what the next, the other way that we use this is in our one-on-one faculty consultations. And that is, that as we look ahead and our challenges, that kind of epitomizes it. So with our one-on-one consultations, usually a faculty member will come to us and say, I really need some help with my teaching. Or they'll come to us and say, my dean has asked me to come in here and get help for my teaching. And so these consultation processes, I'm sure that many of you are familiar with, can be pretty intense. At their fullest level of deployment, we'll go and visit the instructor's course multiple times, talk to the students, do some small group instructional diagnosis with those students. And then part of what we do is look at the idea evaluations for excellent teacher, excellent course, and see what kind of change happens if we compare the 2 semesters prior to the consultation process with the 2 semesters after the consultation process. Interestingly enough. Now, here's one of those challenges. When we're dealing with these one-on-one consultations, the numbers are really low. We might do 6 or 8 consultations, full-blown consultations a year. And so even though we've been doing this for 7 years, our numbers are still in the less than 50. And so trying to draw huge, meaningful conclusions from this data is dangerous. But what we see is that faculty who go through the consultation process, on average, show a boost in their idea evaluations the semester after they go through the process. And if they attend 1 or more CTL workshops, that improvement tends to solidify. So that if we look 2 or 3 semesters down the road, we see that they're staying at that higher level as measured by the excellent teacher, excellent instructor. If they are not engaged in any of the CTL programming, what we see is that their teaching evaluations either kind of stay the same or maybe go back down to where they had been. So there's definitely, we can show that the consultation helps, but the consultation combined with other types of workshops or reading groups that emphasize teaching are an even better way for the faculty to improve their idea evaluations. All right, so more specifically, looking ahead and some of the challenges. Looking ahead, one of the things that our university has done is this year they're moving away from the diagnostic form and using the short form. That means that we're going to lose the data for question 47, question 1, and question 17. That's one of the challenges that we have as a non-academic center where the deans really wanted to use the short form, and so that's what will happen. That means that we've had to develop some alternate ways of getting at the same information that questions 47, 1, and 17. We're doing that through a combination of surveys of faculty and students. The nice thing about IDEA is that it is nationally normed. Anything that we develop in-house here can be useful, but it's just not as powerful a tool for telling the story that the IDEA form is, quite frankly, because it's limited in nature and it doesn't have the research the IDEA form for it. We will still be able to use, with the short form, we'll still be able to use those summative evaluations, the excellent course, excellent instructor, and so we'll continue to use that as we can. Another challenge that I recognize with the IDEA form, especially when I'm talking about telling our story, trying to describe the impact of what we do to administration in tough budget times, it's always good to have a defense for what you're doing, is that we have to recognize that the IDEA form measures student perception. And that's all it measures, student perception. So we try to get at data a variety of other ways too, so that we're trying to get faculty perception, we're trying to get hard data on retention, student success, and those types of measurements. So it's not so much necessarily a challenge, but it's just a recognition that the IDEA form measures one thing very well, but it's just part of the story. Okay.
And I just wanted to end our session talking a little bit about our partnership with our Office of Academic Evaluation and Assessment. We work closely with the director of this department, and we offer workshops within our department regarding the IDEA form. We've even started an advanced IDEA workshop. So we have been able to build those successful partnerships and with faculty around campus as well. Are there any other questions from the group?
Edwin asks, could you please share more information on the main topic, idea data for assessment of non-academic programs? I guess, and Jake, maybe you have some comments on this as well. I think that we were chosen as an example of a non-academic program simply because we don't offer courses. We don't have students as part of the CTL. We're not an academic department. We obviously are using the idea data to measure the effect of our workshops, our training, which ties directly into academic programs. So I guess that's what I would say about that. Jake, did you have a comment on that?
Yeah, I would say that's how I would answer it as well. That mostly it's to get the wheels turning for all of us. That there's a vast amount of data that comes in, especially when you're using the diagnostic form, that other units on campus who are not an academic unit, one that's directly responsible for instruction or giving particular curriculum or those kinds of programs, that there's the possibility of, instead of adding more questions on another survey or those kinds of things, of looking at the data that's already available, that has already been collected, and how can that be part of the picture. So I really like the way that you have put that, Bruce and Faye, and I think even when we are talking about academic programs, it's also important that even when we're talking about academic programs, that this data is only one part of the picture. So yeah, so I think I applaud you because you're using the data creatively outside of the traditional classroom and curriculum program kind of setting, but then also within its intended context of this is just one part of the picture.
And I think it is an important part because we know that with all the emphasis on retention and students' engagement in the classroom, that getting the student feedback is important. In essence, they're the I don't want to slip into consumerism language here, but they are the focus of what we do. And so it's very important to me that we get their feedback. It was a little disheartening for us to have the decision made to move away from the diagnostic form, simply because it does provide easily defined information. The folks here on campus know what the idea form is, know what it's about. And for those harried administrators that just don't have time to read through a more formal report, putting out a chart or a statistic out there that uses the idea data just provides a little bit more authenticity to what we are trying to do. And again, I'm very cognizant that in this time of shrinking budgets, of multiple threats to higher education as we know it, that non-academic support centers are particularly at risk for downsizing or elimination, even though I think that many folks are seeing that faculty development is really a vital part of solving some of the challenges that higher education faces. And so I think that using that data has helped us to really speak to the administrators in a language that they understand. In fact, 2 years ago, the president always just grabs random data for his state of the institution, state of the university address. And 2 years ago, he grabbed a number of things from our annual report that I had sent him. And it was nice to see it in formal presentation, which is broadcasted on public television and all of that good stuff. Some of the data that we were using, in particular, he used the idea evaluation data. Again, because it's not an in-house assessment, it's a nationally normed assessment piece with a lot of research behind it. So folks do respect that. Yes, it is always good when the president is tooting his own horn, or tooting our horn, yes.
Any other questions? Thank you, Susan, for your comment, and I'm glad you appreciate the feedback that Faye and Bruce are able to provide. When I heard them share this story, I thought it was exciting, and I wanted to get that out there to other people as well, as many people as possible, because yeah, a nationally normed instrument that's right there in your own backyard, so to speak. There's a lot of ways to use that in addition to direct influence on what's happening in the classroom. And I really like the way that you're using the overall scores as well, that you're able to track that even with longevity. Having had IDEA on your campus for a while, you can go back and show that the consistency of where faculty are based on how they're participating in the programming. So that's also just another creative avenue there. So yeah, Edward, go ahead.
I was just saying, and another challenge that we didn't, it's not really a challenge, but it's just a concern when using the IDEA form that we haven't really talked about yet, but it's really important, is that aspect of maintaining faculty confidentiality. We actually, for the most part, our data comes to us sanitized of any identifying features. So I'll tell the Office of Academic Assessment and Evaluation, I need the average of this particular thing, or I'll send them, our list of 40 faculty that have attended technology workshops, and I'll say, just give me the summary score of these folks. So I think it's important to be thinking about using the IDEA evaluation, and different institutions have different threshold levels of who gets access to what data. For example, we can get data, individual data on our online instructors, but not our face-to-face instructors. I'm still not sure how that happens, but it's a Board of Regents policy. For the folks that are going through, for example, our faculty consultation, we've developed a release form that allows where they will sign off and give us permission to look at their IDEA evaluations 2 semesters before, 2 semesters after, with the provision that we never report individual scores, but we only report scores in the aggregate. And so I think that's another facet that's important. We always, as Center for Teaching and Learning, want to respect that faculty confidentiality. Many times we're dealing with faculty who are not scoring in the top percentiles of the IDEA form. And it's important that they know that this is a safe place to go to. Even as we're assessing our effectiveness, we absolutely have to respect their confidentiality.
That's a very good point. A little rabbit trail here, and this stems a little bit off of the chat area as well. Folks can download the PowerPoint. If you go up to the upper right-hand corner where it says Files, if you click on the actual name of the file and download it to your computer, the charts and everything show up there. So I apologize. I'm not sure why Adobe Connect didn't want to play nice with the charts and graphs, but if you download the actual PowerPoint file, all of the charts and everything are in the file. And for future reference, anyone who's listening to this in the future, and I'm time traveling here, I'm pretty confident that you can download the file even when you're viewing the recording as well. Any other questions from our participants, or anything else, Bruce or Faye, that you want to add as well?
I guess I'll say that I'll be doing a national workshop web seminar on this in October, late October. I won't name the company or anything here, but if you're interested, I'm more than happy to send you that information. I'll be looking at really the whole process of creating outcomes-based assessments and using that data to begin to define your value for the institution. And so, like I said, I'm happy to provide that information to anyone that is interested.
Be certain to mention IDEA multiple times as you're giving that presentation, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we will.
Well, so I've enjoyed it. Folks in the chat, feel free to give your comments, or you can use the status there, the applause or the smiley face. But we're very glad that we could participate in this together. So I thank you for your time. Hopefully, if you've finished your copy by now, you can go and top it off. But but not seeing any other questions, then I think we will release everybody back to their workday. Thank you for participating again, Bruce and Faye, so much, and I look forward to running into you in the future.
And thank you.
Thanks, Jake.
Yep. Take care, everyone.